On August 12, 2000, a massive steel beast navigated the depths of the Atlantic. It was the Kursk, Russia's most advanced nuclear attack submarine of the Oscar class, equipped with 24 supersonic anti-ship P-700 Granite missiles. These missiles were specifically designed to target aircraft carriers and their battle groups, which is why this type of nuclear submarine is also known as a carrier killer. This type of nuclear submarine rarely appears in peacetime, only being seen during military exercises. On that day, the Kursk was participating in a Russian Northern Fleet military exercise in the Barents Sea. However, shortly after the exercise began, the 16,000-ton submarine suffered a sudden explosion while submerged. Officers and sailors sank with the submarine to a depth of more than 100 meters, while 2 nuclear reactors burned intensely. This was, to date, the most serious nuclear submarine accident in the world. However, at the time, Russia refused the help offered by many countries and organizations for a joint rescue operation, opting to conduct an emergency operation alone, which lasted 60 hours. Only in the final moments of the critical 72 hours did Russia allow a Norwegian rescue team to enter the area where the Kursk had sunk to try and save it. So, what was the final fate of those 118 people? What was the cause of the accident? Today, we are going to talk about this terrible nuclear submarine accident. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union had both similar and different approaches in the military field. In shipbuilding, the United States developed a fleet centered around aircraft carriers, complemented by strategic nuclear submarines, while the Soviet Union focused on nuclear attack submarines, complemented by large surface ships.
With the entry into service of the U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, the Soviet Union began to feel an increasing threat and decided to build a new high-performance nuclear submarine. And the goal of the submarine was clear: to attack the U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier battle groups. Thus, the Oscar-class nuclear attack submarine was born. Designed by the famous Soviet submarine shipyard Rubin, the submarine had the project code 949, so it is also known as the 949 class nuclear submarine. In 1978, the first 949 class submarine began construction at the Submarine shipyard in northern Soviet Union, a secret shipyard specializing in the construction of nuclear submarines, located within the Arctic Circle in a very isolated area. Thus, the submarine remained secret from the beginning of its construction, and NATO intelligence agencies only knew its code. There were never any photos of it in operation, and its details remained unknown. The capabilities of the 949 class submarine were among the most advanced in the world at the time. However, due to the designer's pursuit of higher cruising speed, the submarine's displacement was deliberately reduced to decrease weight and increase speed, which led to a very high density of equipment in the submarine, making maintenance extremely difficult. As a result, the Oscar-class submarines had a high failure rate, which created potential risks for future accidents. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russia, as the largest inheritor of this legacy, abandoned the large surface ships, including aircraft carriers, but continued to build 949 class submarines. And the Kursk was the last of the 949 class submarines. Since it entered service in 1995, it was primarily used for training in the Russian Northern Fleet. But due to Russia's extremely limited military budget at the time, even nuclear submarines, which were the most important part of the naval force, were neglected. In the mid-1990s, most nuclear submarines, including the Kursk, were sealed in docks, with even basic maintenance being difficult to perform. These submarines slowly rusted over the years until, in 1999, Russia's military budget improved, and these submarines were reactivated. But the Kursk had little training and mission experience at sea during its 5 years of service. It participated in only one official mission, in May 1999, when it was sent to the Mediterranean to secretly monitor the U.S. 6th Fleet's aircraft carrier battle group during the Kosovo War. The most powerful weapon on the Kursk was its 24 supersonic anti-ship P-700 Granite missiles. The Granite was developed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s as an anti-ship missile that flies close to the sea at supersonic speed, with a maximum range of 550 kilometers, making it the world's first anti-ship missile to reach Mach 2.5. Almost impossible to intercept. The Granite can be equipped with a conventional 750 kilograms warhead or a 50 kiloton nuclear warhead, capable of causing massive destruction upon hitting the target. A single Granite striking an aircraft carrier was enough to paralyze its combat capability. The Soviet Union equipped only 2 types of vessels with these missiles: the world's largest nuclear cruiser, the Kirov class, and the Oscar-class submarines. Additionally, the Soviet Union developed several combat tactics for the Granite, the most typical being the launch of multiple missiles at intervals, where one guide missile would fly at high altitude, attracting the attention of anti-aircraft defenses, while the others followed stealthily at low altitude, all sharing the same target and with terminal guidance capability, continuously correcting their trajectories.
If the guide missile was intercepted, another missile would assume its function until the attack was completed. This relay attack method was never tested in actual combat, but during Soviet exercises it never failed. The Soviets concluded that within a range of 550 kilometers, the Granite missiles, with their relay launch method, were virtually infallible, earning them the nickname carrier killers. Since its development, the Granite had been kept in absolute secrecy until August 13, 2000, after the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk during an exercise in the Barents Sea, when the mystery of these missiles was finally revealed, this being one of the reasons why Russia initially refused other countries' help in the rescue. But how did this accident occur? In August 2000, the Northern Fleet, the most powerful of Russia's 4 fleets, began a 10-day naval exercise. The Northern Fleet possessed 23 strategic nuclear submarines, 35 attack nuclear submarines, Russia's only aircraft carrier, 2 nuclear cruisers, and various other military vessels, making it a force capable of rivaling NATO in the Atlantic and Arctic. This exercise was the largest conducted since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, mobilizing the entire Northern Fleet in a way never seen since the end of the Cold War. US and UK submarines also secretly entered the area, beginning to closely monitor every move of the Northern Fleet. On August 10th, the Kursk, participating in the exercise as part of the Red Team, aimed to locate and destroy the main ship of the Blue Team, the nuclear cruiser Peter the Great. The Peter the Great is a nuclear missile cruiser developed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s, currently the only active nuclear surface ship in the world, with a total displacement of an impressive 25,000 tons. This already surpasses many light aircraft carriers from other countries. Thus, the Peter the Great became the flagship of the Northern Fleet. During the exercise, the Kursk was the first to locate the Peter the Great and launched a training Granite missile, but the Peter the Great successfully intercepted it. So far, everything was normal. Then, the Kursk maneuvered to the flank of the Peter the Great, intending to launch a stealth torpedo to destroy it. The commander of the Kursk, Captain Liazine, brought the submarine to periscope depth at a distance of 10 kilometers from the Peter the Great and informed the Red Team command. He then launched the torpedo, but while the Red Team fleet awaited the electronic signal of the torpedo's impact on the Peter the Great, nothing happened. A minute later, the ships detected a faint explosion sound coming from the seabed, followed by a second, more intense explosion that nearly shook the ships of the Northern Fleet.